Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on Capnclyde's MTG, and we are at the end of Kamigawa spoilers. We've got a bunch of commas to go through, boys, so buckle up. Trade tables and seat backs are full upright position because it's going to be a long flight. I'm going to wing through it pretty quick. I'm only going to talk about anything that I think is really outstanding. Other than that, I'm just going to breeze through it. No need to give you a little extra explanation or disrotation. When mainly a lot of these are just probably going to be commons and uncommons. So, with that said, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Comments down below feeds that YouTube algorithm, helps support the channel as we head to 1,000 subscribers. Come on, boys, let's get a little support. So, without further ado, we're off to the races. So, the first thing I'd like to bring your attention to is we have reprints of dual lands. Not real dual lands, the crappy ones that give you one life and they come into play. Scoured Balance, Rugged Highlands, Dismal Backwater, all these. They do have one extra one. They have the Uncharted Haven. Now, unlike the normal one, that when it comes into play tapped, and instead of paying mana for this one, you actually get to choose a color, and you get one mana of the chosen color. Normally, you get something like it comes into play tapped, spend one mana or sacrifice it, taps for any color. So this is the kind of offsuit of that. But other than that, we have a dual land for every color pair. I'm not going to show you all of them because you know what they are. They've been reprinted plenty of times. Moving right along, next we have the Dragonfly suit. I believe I covered this. White and 2 for a 3/2 with flying. Cruise for 1. Not too bad. Decent artifact. Next, Golden Tail Disciple. White and 2 for 2/3 with lifelink. Not too shabby. Next, we have the Imperial Oath, a white and 5 sorcery that creates 3 2/2 white samurai token creatures with vigilance. Scry 3. I think this will actually see some play. 6 mana is a lot, but in limited, it's not that bad, and it's a pretty good price. So we have the Imperial Recovery Unit, so white and 2 for a 3/4 vehicle. When the recovery unit attacks, return target creature card or vehicle card, mana cost 2 or less from graveyard to your hand. Cruise for 2. Seems pretty sweet for an uncommon. Next, we have Interceptors Arrest, a white and 2. You need to enchant a permanent. It can't attack, block, or crew vehicles. Activated abilities can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. It's basically super pacifism. Moving right along, next we have the Kitsune Ace, a white and 1 for a 2/2. Whenever a vehicle you control attacks, you get to choose one. The vehicle gains first strike to end a turn, or you get to untap the Kitsune, which is pretty sweet because then you can pilot, then you can repilot something else. So I kind of like that one. We have Lucky Offering, 1 white, destroy target artifact with mana value 3 or less and gain 3 life. That's going to be pretty sweet. Moth Rider Patrol, for 1 white, you get a 1/1 flyer. 4 mana, it taps target creature. It's nice to have 1/1 flyer, although how expensive it is to tap a creature might make it a liability compared to normal tap spells in white. Regent's Authority, for 1 white, instant target creature gets +2/+2 to end a turn. If it's an enchantment creature or legendary creature, instead put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it gets +1/+1 to end a turn. So this is a just plain better in this set pump spell that stays around. Next here, Repel the Vile, white and 3, you get to choose one, exile target creature power 4 or greater, or exile target enchantment. This is going to be a high class removal spell and limited. Next here, we have the Wanderer's Intervention, Planeswalker in the house. White and 1 instant, Wanderer's Intervention deals 2 damage, target attacking or blocking creature. We have Disruption Protocol for 2 blue. We have a counter spell. Now, the additional cost of this counter spell is you have to tap an untap artifact or pay an extra 1. So it's basically a cancel if you've got an artifact that can be cheaper. Futurist Sentinel, blue and 3 for a 6/6 at cruise for 3. It's alright, I guess. Mirror Shell Crab, so 2 blue and 5 for a 5/7 with Ward 3. It's got Channel though. Blue and 2, you get to discard the crab. Discard your crabs. Counter target spell or ability unless its controller pays 3. So that's a pretty sweet counter spell that can be a win condition later. That might actually see some play. Mnemonic Sphere, so for a blue and 1, you get an artifact. And then for a blue and 1, you can sacrifice the sphere to draw 2 cards, or channel it for 1, discard it, and draw a card. This is going to be phenomenal. I think this is going to see a lot of play. This is as good as Consider. except it gives you the option to draw 2 for 4 late game, or just let it stick around to do it. It still ends up in the graveyard. I think it's got a lot of potential. So, Moonfolk Puzzle Maker, blue and 2 for a 1/4 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, or whenever it becomes tapped, you get to scry 1, so that's pretty sweet. Pluto Excursion, a blue and 1, exile target artifact or creature, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with +1/+1 counter on it. Basic blink spell in blue. Short Circuit, +1, or 1 blue, 1 colorless, flash, enchant artifact or creature, -3, -0, and loses flying. That's just a rename of a basic spell in blue. Sky Swimmer Koi, blue and 3 for a 3/3 flyer. It's a pretty good rate. Whenever an artifact enters a battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Pretty good ability to go along with it. That's definitely going to see some limited play. Suit Up, blue and 2. Until end of turn, target creature or vehicle becomes an artifact creature base power 4/5, base power and toughness 4/5, and draw a card. This is going to be a great combat trick. Probably see it get played limited a lot. Chain Flail Centipede. Pretty sure we already covered this one. A blue and 2, or a black and 2 for a 2/2. Whenever the Centipede or the equipped creature attacks, it gets +2/+0 to end of turn. So basically, it's a 4/2 when it attacks, or whatever it attacks that it's on, it becomes +2/+0. Clawing Torment. So for 1 black, you can enchant artifact or a creature. As long as the permanent is a creature, it's -1/-1 and can't block. Enchant permanent also has, at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life. So this could be a pretty decent win condition depending on how the limited format goes. Might even see standard play. Debt to Akami. Black and 2. Target opponent exiles a creature they control, or target opponent exiles an enchantment they control. This is going to be a sweet card. It might even see standard play because of the versatility. It's pretty sweet. We have Kato's Pursuit, black and 2. Target player discards 2 cards. Ninjas and rogues you control gain minutes till end of turn. That's an interesting take on hand disruption. Next we have Kami of Restless Shadows. So for a black and 4, you get a 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, you choose one. Return target ninja or rogue card from your graveyard to your hand, or put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. That's interesting. It's not as good as the Gravedigger, I don't think, but maybe. Kami of Terrible Secrets. So for a black and 3, it's a 3/4. When it enters the battlefield, if you control an artifact and an enchantment, you draw a card and lose on life. I mean, it's a fine 4-drop, I guess. Limited might like that. Reckoner's Shakedown. Black and 2. Target opponent reveals their hand. You may choose a non-land card from it. If you do, that player discards that card. If you don't, put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature or vehicle you control. Very interesting take on discard. That's actually usable later in the game, maybe. So we'll see how that goes. Reckoner's Bargain, black and 1 instant, additional cost, sacrifice artifact or creature, gain life equal to the sacrifice permanent's mana value, and draw 2 cards. It's your basic black sacrifice. Return to action, black and 1. Until the end of turn, target creature gets +1/+0 and gains lifelink, and when this creature dies, return to the battlefield under your own, tapped under your owner's control. Seen this plenty of times. Twisted Embrace, 2 black and 2 enchantment. You can enchant an artifact or a creature. When Twisted Embrace enters the battlefield, destroy target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. As long as the enchanted permanent is a creature, it gets +1/+1. This is basically a Necatrol on a stick that you have to have legs to attach it to. So, Undercity Scrounger, black and 2 for a 1/4. Create a treasure token, activate only once if a creature died this turn. That's interesting. We have the Virus Beetle, black and 1 for a 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. This is your basic black 1/1 creature. It makes you discard. I like it. Good for commanders. It says each opponent. We have the Ambitious Assault here for red and 2. Instant creatures you control get +2/+0 to end a turn. And if you control modified creatures, you get to draw a card. Yay. Crackling Emergence, red and 1. Enchant lands you control. Enchanted land is a 3/3 red spirit creature token with haste. It's still land. If enchanted land would be destroyed, instead sacrifice Crackling Embrace, and that land gains indestructible till end of turn. So that's cool. I like that. I think it's going to be very usable because it's not going to cause you to lose a land. You get to keep the land, just the card goes away. So that's pretty nice. Experimental Synthesizer. So for 1 red, when Synthesizer enters or leaves the battlefield, exile top card of your library. Until the end of turn, you may play that card. That's pretty sweet. 3 mana to sacrifice it, so you can get a 2/2 Samurai creature token with Vigilance. This is a very nice card for, I think, any style of deck, honestly, just for the fact that you can play it and play something off top of your deck. Alright, next we have Explosive Entry. Red and 1, destroy up to 1 target artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Decent for limited. Gift of Wrath, a red and 3. Enchant an artifact or a creature. As long as the permanent is a creature, gets +2/+2 in menace. And when Gift of Wrath leaves the battlefield, you get to create a 2/2 red spirit creature token. So that's going to be pretty sweet for limited. Keep the gift that keeps on giving. Ironhoof Boar, a red and 5 for a 5/4 trample haste. That's going to be a great limited card. For channeling it, you can discard it, and creatures gets +3/+1 and gains trample. So basically, it's a creature or an instant. Pretty cool. Kami's Flare, red and 1, it deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. The Flare also deals 2 damage to that permanent's controller if you control a modified creature. Alright, that's decent removal. Good for limited. Kindled Fury, so 1 red, target creature gets +1/+0 and gains first strike. We've seen those before. Scrapyard Steelbreaker, red and 3 for a 3/4. You can sacrifice another artifact. The Steelbreaker gets +2/+1 until the end of turn. Interesting. Tawashi Songshaper. This guy's getting jiggy with it. Anyway, red and 1 for a 2/2. Whenever another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, this Shaper gets +1/+0 till end of turn. Okay. Voltage Surge, 1 red. Additional cost of this spell, you may sacrifice an artifact. Deals 2 damage. Target creature or player. If the spell's additional cost was paid, it deals 4 damage instead. Okay, so it's basically a shock or a demon bolt, depending on if you want to sacrifice something. That's pretty cool. Bearer of Memory, green and 2 for a 3/2 for 6 mana, put a +1/+1 counter on target enchantment creature. It gains trample to the end of turn. That's pretty sweet. Careful Cultivation, so for a green and 2, you can enchant an artifact or a creature. If the enchanted permanent's a creature, it gets +1/+3, has reach, and taps for 2 green. Or you can channel it to discard it to create a 1/1 green human monk that can actually tap for 1. So basic mana dork. Commune with the Spirits, for 1 green, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an enchantment or land from among them, put them into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Very good search spell for green, good for limited. Fade Antiquity, basically a 3 mana exile target artifact or enchantment. This will be very handy. Might see standard play. Favor of Jukai, a green and 3, enchant an artifact or a creature. If it's a permanent, if the permanent's a creature, it gets +3/+3 in reach. You can channel it to give target creature +3/+3 and reach till end of turn. Interesting. Next you have Grafted Growth. 1 and 2 enchant land. Grafted Growth leaves the battlefield ++1/+1 counter on creature or vehicle. Enchanted land has tap, add 2 mana of any color. Good mana fixing card for limited. Harmonious Emergence, a green and 3. Enchant a land that you control. Enchanted land's a 4/5 green spirit creature token with vigilance and haste. It's still a land. If enchanted land would be destroyed, instead sacrifice Harmonious Emergence, and that land gains indestructible to end of turn. I really like how they're doing that, so that you can't like be mana hose because you make your land a creature. But I think it's going to really make these cards really playable and limited. Alright, next we have the Jukai Preserver. It's a green and 3 for a 3/3. Whenever it enters the battlefield, put +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. So it could be a 4/4 for 4. Channel, Preserver put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures you control. Seems like a good 4/4 common. Alright, Master's Rebuke. So for a green and 1, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to a creature or planeswalker you don't control. Basic fight spell for removal in green. Season of Renewal. Green 2 colorless. Return target creature card from graveyard to your hand or enchantment card from graveyard to your hand. Alright, basic graveyard recursion from green as usual. Tamiyo's Safekeeping. 1 green. Target permanent you control gains hexproof and indestructible at the end of turn. You gain 2 life. This is going to be a great combat trick and a way to save your creatures. This might even see standard play. Automated Artificer. For 2, you get a 1/3. You can tap it, get a colorless. You can only spend this mana to activate an ability or cast an artifact. Basic mana dork for artifacts. It's a brute suit. 3 for a 4/3. It's vigilance, cruise for 1. Seems pretty sweet. Dramaticist Puppet. So 4, you get a 2/4 when the puppet enters the battlefield. For each kind of counter on target permanent, put another counter on of that kind on it or remove one from it. Very interesting. Next, we have a decent rare, guys. So we have the Eater of Virtue. So it's 1 mana to equip a creature. When the creature dies, you exile it. The equipped creature gets +2/+0. Now, as long as the card exiled with Eater of Virtue has flying, the equipped creature has flying. The same is true, first strike, double strike, so forth and so on. As you see, it equips for 1. So basically, you can start stacking all these special abilities onto creatures. I'm not going to say as good as a Shadow Spear, but it's close. All right, moving right along. Ecologist Terrarium. For 2 mana, you can put it in play and go search up a land. That's always great. And then you can sacrifice it to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So it's got a little bit of extra ability too. Plus it's an artifact to trigger some things. I like this, especially in limited. Alright, Iron Apprentice. So for 1, you get a 0/0. Enters the battlefield with +1/+1 counter on it. When it dies, if it had a counter on it, put those counters on target creature you control. Alright, so it's a basic counter shuffle. Network Terminal, 3 mana to get 1 mana of any color, and for 1 and tapping it, you can tap another untapped artifact you control to draw a card, and then discard a card. That's pretty sweet, and that's probably something you might start seeing in Commander. It's a good mana rock with a good ability. Everybody loves drawing cards. Ninja's Kunai. So for 1, the equipped creature, it says equipped creature has 1 tap, sacrifice Ninja's Kunai. Deals 3 damage to any target, 1 to equip. So basically, you're spending 3 mana in the long run to deal 3 damage at the cost of this card. Decent removal, just takes a long time. Good for limited. Papercraft Decoy. So for 2, you get a 2/1. When the decoy leaves play, you may pay 2 colorless. If you do, you can draw a card. Decent card for limited. Next, we have the Searchlight Companion. 3 mana for a 1/1 flyer. When the companion enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token. 1/1 colorless spirit creature. Okay, so that creature doesn't have flying, just this one does. But still, 3 mana for 2/2 any color. Probably decent for limited. Alright, Shrine Steward. We have a 5 mana construct. It's a 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an aura or shrine card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So this is going to be very popular in the Shrine deck in Pioneer/Commander. And with the new shrines in this format, it might even be good and constructed. So this foil might actually be worth a little bit of money. Thundersteel Colossus. 7 mana for a 7/7 trample haste. Cruise for 2. So very interesting. Nice common. Let's see if it goes anywhere. And with that said, boys and girls, there you have it. It only took us about 18 minutes that time to get through all the last 75 some odd cards that we had to go through. But I do appreciate it. So, with the end of Kamigawa spoils, Kamigawa spoil, Kawi? Anyway, at the end of the spoilers, now we gotta do is just wait for the stuff to come out. So I look forward now to making some of those other videos I've been waiting to make about alchemy. I got 4 or 5 left in the queue I need to make. I'll do some top 5s of what I think the best cards from the set are for all formats, give and take. So stay tuned for those. Keep an eye out. We'll start doing some more videos. Everybody seemed to like the value videos of old boxes and what they're worth now if you'd have bought them then compared to if they went up or down. I got a lot of those to talk about because I got some key insights on them. So with all that said, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I do appreciate it. And remember, until next time, be kind. And I hope to see you at pre-release across from the game table.